Hey guys, so come right on in. Come right on in. I wanted to. I'm obviously gonna delete the stream because talking about that community, I don't want to get in trouble. You know what I mean? So I wanted to basically just give my take on the whole Kanye West becoming a $200 or $400 millionaire, and why I believe that what he did, I don't know if it was smart, but it's kind of genius. It was kind of genius. I mean, Kanye West, right? The reason why I, because I'm not African American. One second. My bad. So the reason why I just feel like what I should say should be taken with a grain of salt is because I'm not African American, nor do I live in America. I just see Kanye West as an entertainer. So for those who expect so much from him, he's obviously about his bag. He's always been about his bag. He's not supposed to represent black people at all. So when I hear black people go like, "Oh, I'm so disappointed in Kanye West," it's like, why would you expect anything from him? I mean, he never cared about black people. If we're really gonna take it there, he never did. He married into an Armenian and white family, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. He chose who he wanted to choose. But I just noticed that he claimed onto his blackness after he left Kim Kardashian. Like the same Kanye West of the Kanye West of the President Trump or President Bush. My bad. President Bush doesn't care about black people. That Kanye died a long time ago. So it's like when Kanye reverts to that type of behavior, I'm not sure why people want to support him and be like, oh, he's a black man and he's being treated bad. I mean, he doesn't care about the black community. So why should the black community care about what's going on with him? Like, he's never ever said, oh, I'm doing this for this community, or I'm doing this to support these people. He's never said that's what he was interested in. He's always been interested in who he was, in his bag, in his own career. So that's why when black people now are like, oh, he got the black wake up call. And does he care that he got the black wake up call? Possibly not. And if he does care, wouldn't people say that it's too late for him to care now when he's, I'm not going to say he's a loser because he has $400 million, but to his class, having $400 million when you used to be a multi-billionaire is you failing. So now that he's a failure, this is when the black community wants to claim him. This is when the black community wants to be like, oh, he was always, one of us. He doesn't see himself as one of you. Now, I don't think he's crazy, right? Because I don't believe that someone who could be a multi-billionaire can be crazy. So I never believed that he was crazy. I always believed that he was just more on the erratic side. Like he was more on the I'm not going to think about something before I follow through with it. That's how I feel that he is, which is why when he's going through whatever he's going through right now, I don't believe it was all random. I do believe that some of this was contrived, that he meant to say those comments. Perhaps he didn't expect this turnout. I don't know. I don't know if he expected this turnout. I don't know if he expected to be canceled. But I'm sure he should have expected to be canceled. And even if you look at what he said, he didn't say anything anti Semitic. If we want to take it there, he actually didn't say anything anti Semitic. He was just speaking the truth. All he simply said is the people like Jay Z, other black men specifically, are ruled or are told what to do by people of that community. That's not anti-Semitic. That's the truth. So I'm not sure what everyone is getting so offended by. Like, he didn't say he wants to go in there and get rid of them. Never said anything like that. He just said that they have too much power. And what you propose is a solution for this. I guess nothing can be done of the fact that that community holds too much power, but yeah, I guess nothing can be done of the fact that that community holds too much power and influence. You really can't compete with that community's power and influence and backing. Um, but just bringing it up, I don't think is racist. He said much worse about his own community, and nobody cared. He's made fun of his community the whole time to fit in with other folks, and no one's ever had a problem with that. But when he talks about this community, then all of a sudden he has to be canceled. I find that to be very, very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. The problem with slavery is that it made black people don't stand as a nation with you stand by your nation or be a sellout. Yeah, I think honestly, at the same time though, I don't think he should have made that statement that slavery was a choice. Um that wasn't the right type of he could have, if he was annoyed with what people of his community do, he could have had a more gentle way of saying it. No, he didn't have to say slavery was a choice, especially since he did not go through slavery. Like, no one even, I I don't even remember if that was an interview, but let's see here. Okay. So this is the part of West that I never really understood. Like, now you want to complain about your ex-wife, about how she raises your kids, about how this and that. You were with that woman for 8 years. If she was that bad, why didn't you leave then? No, now you left, and now you're like, oh, this woman and her family are evil. This woman and her family are witches. You chose that. No offense, but you chose somebody who did a tape that is visible to everyone. A lot of people have seen the tape of her sleeping with somebody else. That is who you chose to actually take as a wife and take someone serious. There are so many awesome, great, you know, humble women out there, and you decided to go with someone like that. I think he decided to go with someone like that because, again, he was trying to fit in a certain community. And also, well, he always said that she's beautiful. So it was more infatuation, I think, instead of actual wife qualities. So him just completely, because we all know what she is. Okay, no one, everyone looks at her old pictures and go like, oh, she's just somebody who wants attention. No one takes her seriously, not in that way. But he decided to marry her, be with her, create 4 children with her, and now he wants the community to feel bad for him, as if he was forced to make this decision. No, even if she was black and she was a whore, I would be like, no, it's not a. But yeah, let me play. Ooh, let me play the clip that shows how he lost all that money basically in one night. This is, yeah, this is sad. But
Wanted to be on the billionaires list for a very long time. What I understand is that he'd been campaigning for it before he finally made his appearance in, I think, spring of 2020. And that fortune really relied on his partnership with Adidas. The Yeezy sneakers that he sold through Adidas was the 75% bulk of his fortune.
So how
And
much was that partnership worth?
so when we first put him on the billionaires list in 2020, that partnership was valued at, I think, 1 billion. It might have been a little bit under because he also has like some real estate and some other assets, but it has grown since then over the past 2 years. When we updated his valuation earlier this year, his net worth was actually at 2 billion. So it's grown twice as much over the past 2 years. But unfortunately, now that Adidas has cut ties with him, that cut 1.5 billion out of his net worth, and so that means he's now worth around 400 million.
Okay, so before, take me through how you guys got, or how we get to the one.
okay, so I don't need to play the whole thing. You guys get the point. He kept on making tweets and posts saying that he was worth $6 billion. That's what he said. But really, he was worth probably 2 billion, right? And him losing his Adidas contact or contract made him become really, really kind of a loser, actually, because now he's only worth $400 million, which is still a lot of money. But I mean, if someone is used to having a $2 billion net worth, they're gonna spend accordingly. So I'm sure by the end of the year, especially tax time, things are gonna be kind of crazy. So that's one thing that he did, right? And then I think people just still have this view of Kanye West, that he's the same conscious rapper from 2005. And I mean, I don't know what he's doing. He apparently now he's doing his whole Christian thing, which is whatever. I don't really believe that he is a Christian. Um I just don't. But this is the Kanye West that this is why black people cannot cancel him. Like, for once and for all, just leave him alone. He does not care about you. This one right here. The president.
The biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
And subtle, but in even many ways more profoundly devastating, is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That was Kanye West. And this is
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. That was iconic for him to say that on live air. It was so iconic they had to cut it down and like go to commercial break. But that Kanye, I don't think that was an act. I think that was what he thought about during the time. But that version of Kanye West does not exist anymore. So I'm not sure why that community cannot just let him go, like just forget about him. He doesn't care about his community now either. He's sold out, and can you really blame him? Because by him selling out, he became a billionaire. He wasn't a billionaire at this time. So to me, it's like, okay, fine. It makes sense why he sold out. But the fact that he sold out means he's not coming back. So I'm not sure, like, especially with his most recent apology, him apologizing to that community and being like, oh, we're slaves, but you just said a couple of years ago that black people were not, they chose slavery. Now you're talking about, oh, they're slaves to the system and all of this stuff. It's just like, to me, it's he had a plan of trying to integrate into another community and it did not work. So then after it not working, he's running back to his community, and it's like, why now do you value the people who you trashed for so long? Of course you were conscious, of course you did Christian music, so I'm not going to sit here and say that he was always like that. But I used to listen to Kanye West. I stopped in 2012, but his first 4 or 5 albums were amazing. But then if you listen to the 808 Heartbreak album, and then the transition to my, what is it, my sick twisted fantasy, if you watch that transition, his most recent 4 albums are just crazy. Like, you could clearly tell he's advertising his music to somebody else, not advertising his music to the people who supported him from day one, especially people from his actual community, you know? To yeah, Kim Kardashian was clearly a status symbol. Too many people. Why am I getting so many bots? 1 second. FBA decides who and they care and don't care about these sizes with your own. Yeah, I'm not, like, I don't know if you watched the beginning of the stream. I'm not saying to cancel him or not. Don't care. But I'm just commenting about this because I used to listen to Kanye West when he was real, like when he was more relevant, when he was a big deal. I mean, he's still a big deal, but not necessarily in the music industry. I don't know if he's a big deal in the fashion industry anymore, because I wouldn't say he committed career S word. I definitely think he could bounce back, but I don't know how he's gonna bounce back. I'll be honest, like, I don't know how he's gonna do that. Maybe the first 4 albums, but the last couple of albums, sorry, I can't say they are. That Donda album that he released, I, I guess it was top selling, but People talk about late registration. People talk about college dropout. People talk about his previous albums all the time. Those albums are classic, but his last four albums have not been classic. They've been kind of like, what are you doing? Anyway. So that was the. Let me play that one more time because this Kanye doesn't exist anymore.
When the hip hop star Kanye
shape of the city has changed dramatically, tragically, and perhaps irreversibly. There's now over 25 feet of water where there was once city streets and thriving neighborhoods.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. And it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give. And just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
And subtle, but in even many ways more profoundly devastating, is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
that was Kanye West.
That was that was so classic, and I think even his whole speech was him speaking from the mind, because that whole part where he was like, oh, if you see white people looking for food, they're searching, but if black people are looking for food, it's looting. You could see Mike Myers' face the whole time, like, is this part of the script? I don't think somebody wrote this. So that oh, that's Jimmy Fallon. Wait, who is this? Who's this guy right here? Listen, I don't care. But yeah, like, just looking at this guy's face the whole time, and Kanye West was just doing this. Kanye West, I wish he would come back. Maybe this experience that he's going through is gonna be the humbling experience that's gonna change. See, it's it's weird for me to complain, or it's weird for me to explain, but I think that this Kanye West is there deep down. I think that the Kanye West that's wearing White Lives Matter t-shirt, that's talking about slavery was a choice, that married Kim Kardashian, I think that was the billionaire or the elite Kanye West. I really do think Kanye West understands that he's not white and that maybe he tried to get the same respect as someone who's Caucasian and has a much less net worth than him. Maybe he tried to sell out so that he could get respect from that community. But I really do think Kanye West isn't that stupid. I keep saying this, but for someone to say he's crazy, but he used to have a $2 billion net worth, how crazy is he? Like, I get it. He has finance managers, he has people to take care of his money. But I mean, to have that much star power, to gain $2 billion, that's not something that's easily accessible. Their egos inflate too much and they can't handle the fame. Let me see here. There's so many there's so many bots. Kanye's so-called worst music is better than ever. No, it isn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It isn't. Sorry. I mean, we're not even going to debate that. College Dropout was a classic. The Rock just be saying anything. The hustle is real. I like Kanye. I think he's a good person and speaks his mind. Sorry, I just think he's a good. I don't know if he's a good person. I think he's kind-hearted. I think he has good intentions. But to say he's a good person, I'm gonna hold off on that. Kanye West was elevated the Kardashians. Yeah, he basically gave legitimacy to Kim Kardashian. He gave legitimacy to that whole family. And to think about it, it's still so ridiculous to me how that family was able to capitalize and profit so much out of Kanye West when, I mean, Kim Kardashian is not a catch in her own community. She never was. She was never able to get, a really good man. So she had to go to another community to be elevated because, I mean, which billionaire man, legitimate man, wants a wife that used to dress like she does? Now that she's getting older, right? She's 41 now. Yeah, I keep up with this stuff. She's 41. Okay. I'm not saying 41 means your life is over, right? But in that industry, 41 means your life is pretty much over, right? I mean, which brilliant man would marry someone who dresses like this? So I listen, I believe it was infatuation. As somebody said, the trophy wife. I don't know, but anyway, we can just say that he was young. Let's just use youth as an excuse for this because I also don't understand his choice of a wife. And it was a serious marriage. It wasn't like he married her for a couple of months. Wasn't like he married her even for 2 or 3 years. He married her for a while. They stayed married. They had 4 children. Their assets, I mean, luckily their assets weren't that tied together. She started to make a lot of money during the end of their marriage, but at the beginning of the marriage, he was like the number one superstar. She didn't have keeping up with Kardashians like that. Well, she did, but it wasn't like her whole family wasn't put on. She didn't have Skims. She didn't have her makeup brand. She didn't have any of these things when they first got together. So he did build Kim Kardashian in a way. And it's kind of unfortunate that, no, this is how she did him. As soon as they broke up, she went for a 29-year-old man who had nothing. And I have a feeling that she's going to keep doing that. She's going to keep going for 29, 30-year-old men that have nothing because no billionaire is going to want that. Anyway, Jilly found this world, if you being honest and speak your mind, they won't like you. They prefer fake. Kanye West is unique, but you okay. Unique to whom though? Check out this video. Kanye West flips out. Oh yeah, no, I have that video coming up. What does it mean when you can't see your comments, chats in the live chat? I guess I'm blocked. I'd have to check that. I could see your comments, but I'd have to check that. Kanye and Kardashian coven led by Mistress Bruce. Oh, Afro. Okay, I'm not even. That's not even the topic. Bertha sticking out for her fellow Chicagoan. Kanye is great. We need to support him. The small hats are trying. Okay, I'll explain that in a minute. Um, if they want to support him, they could go ahead and support him. But if I was from that community and just hearing the stuff that he said about me and my people, I think I would feel a certain way. So that's where I'm conflicted. It's like, on one hand, he's a black man, he's a genius, support your own. But on the other hand, he literally got famous by saying that slavery was a choice. He literally has said so many bad things about his own community, was never canceled, says something about another community that's not even racist, and everyone drops him. It's so funny to me. It really it's so funny to me because if people even want to be like, "Oh, he's racist," which I don't really think he is. I actually think he loves that community. But if anyone ever wants to say that he's racist, which I don't think he is, um, how come it's completely fine for him to be that way with his own community, to say bad things about his own community, but the minute he says something about someone else's community, well, I guess it's just the dynamics of that community. I guess I have no idea. Mm, I mean, I don't know.
Contract. Mark Parker. I'm gonna put Mark Parker all on that Summer Jam screen. And by the way, Mark Parker, yes, I will still accept an investment in Donda. I got some more ideas that don't involve shoes. But if you guys are investing in the arts, y'all want to invest in this school in Brazil, y'all want to go to Africa, I'm standing up and I'm telling you, I am Warhol. I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google. Now, who's going to be the Medici family and stand up and let me create more? Or do you want to marginalize me till I'm out of my moment?
Or why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers.
This video, Kanye West is hilarious, but to be honest, Sway was telling him the truth. Make your own path, make your own way, so that if you feel undermined by Adidas, if you feel undermined by Louis Vuitton, if you feel undermined by any of these other companies, you're your own manager. You're not gonna sweat it. But Sway was actually right the whole time. And the funny part is Kanye West was like, you don't have the answers. He literally kept on telling you the answers the whole time. It's hilarious.
That's just Sway.
Kanye,
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what?
You ain't got.
Me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the answers.
Kanye,
you ain't got the answers.
I'm asking you.
You
a
ain't
question.
been doing the education,
bro.
You ain't been doing the education.
Kanye, calm down.
You don't have the answers though.
Calm down.
Because you trying to give me advice about something. You ain't got the answer. You ain't spent $13 million of your own money trying to empower yourself.
Yes, but I spent hundreds of thousands and putting out clothing lines at a smaller degree. All I'm asking you,
it ain't no Ralph though. It ain't Ralph level.
Let me ask you this: I'm asking
what's the name of your clothing line? We don't know.
Kanye,
you know what I'm saying?
Because I lost money, but that's not
exactly. And I could lose money on a higher level too.
Don't think just because I got the most or the least money. Let me finish my question, dog.
Man, because
you know what's ironic is now Sway seems to be kind of happy. Yes, he's not as rich as Kanye. But he seems to be doing his own thing, happy, not stressed out, and Kanye is the opposite. Funny how tables have turned.
No, man.
Let me hear the question.
You don't have the answers.
I'm asking you for the answer. It's a question. Why is it that you can't? You have money.
I just told you I lost the money because I did not have the knowledge of how to do it the right way.
So you don't have the money to do it. That's your answer. You ain't got to turn up, man. This ain't no fucking show, man. I'm talking to you as a homie.
No, it ain't no homie, man, because the thing is, the bottom line is,
man, everybody, you ain't got to turn up like you ain't got to hold up. You
ain't no hold up.
Listen, bro.
Ain't no hold up.
It ain't got to be no hold up. I'm asking you a question.
Ain't no hold up.
I'm asking you a
question.
Ain't no hold up. What do you mean it ain't no hold up, man? We here talking as civilized people. I'm trying to understand your world because when I go to your concert, I'm curious about what you're saying. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you the questions.
Well, I'm gonna explain to you what it
Okay, but
is.
you ain't got to turn up on me man to man, dog. Fuck these mics. We could turn all this shit off. You ain't got to do this. It's cool. I love you, bro. But you ain't got to turn up. Don't try to embarrass us.
I'm not trying to embarrass y'all. What I'm trying to say to y'all is this industry of what I'm trying to get into, ain't nobody never broke down. Ain't nobody broke down. We all slaves. So I ain't trying to disrespect you on your show. We all slaves. Yes, I will still accept an investment in Donda. I got some more.
Ain't no hold up.
Okay. He was like, we are all slaves. We're all tied by this industry. We're all doing this. No, Kanye, that's you. We not all slaves. We not all economic slaves. I could say something really bad about that community. I don't want to, but I can, and I'll be fine. Still in my net worth. I could easily find another job. It's not a big deal. You are the one who decided to be in that community. You are the one who decided to be, you wanted to be in the clothing industry, which is one of the most racist industries, actually. I mean, it's cool if you want to be in the fashion and do all that stuff, but don't think that you don't have things that you're going through. Look at even Rihanna. Rihanna tried to do the Fenty. She not only does makeup, she used to do the Fenty clothing line. She couldn't break through. She couldn't compete with Louis Vuitton, Prada, blah, blah, blah. She can only stay in makeup. She cannot do luxury clothes. Why? Because there's so many things in the background that she was not prepared for. Nope. I just, okay. This community specifically, right? This community, they've done things like Fubu, they've done other clothing brands where their own community supported them. I know it's not as cool as, let's say, Ralph Lauren or what other brands people wear nowadays. I don't even know. I get that it's not as cool as the Italian or the French brands, but it's more of a peace of mind to make your own, start your own lane, than to beg someone else to be included in something that they have and then complain that they're not letting you be a leader, they're not letting you be a manager, a director. Yeah, you're just a worker. Yeezys, Kanye West was just basically the face of Yeezys. Kanye West did not have that much directive control over Yeezys. It is what it is. Michael Jordan hasn't been relevant in the Jordan industry in, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 years. He doesn't own he doesn't even own his likeness anymore. I could literally throw anything on any of these new shoes and it's part of the Jordan brand. He has no say. Like, is that something that you really want? Anyway, let me continue.
What do you mean it ain't no hold up, man? We here talking as civilized people. I'm trying to understand your world because when I go to your concert, I'm curious about what you're saying. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you the questions.
Well, I'm gonna explain to you what it
Okay,
is.
but you ain't got to turn up on me man to man, dog. Fuck these mics. We could turn all this shit off. You ain't got to do this. It's cool. I love you, bro. But you ain't got to turn up. Don't try to embarrass us.
I'm not trying to embarrass y'all. What I'm trying to say to y'all is this industry of what I'm trying to get into, ain't nobody never broke down. Ain't nobody broke down. We all slaves. So I ain't trying to disrespect you on your show. We all slaves or something.
About my show, yeah.
I ain't trying to disrespect you, period. Let me talk if you're going to have me talk. We all slaves. We all slaves. And y'all ain't experienced nothing right here but a moment from a movie out of glory. Back in the days, the slaves had enough money, they could buy their own freedom. We all say we slaves to Nike. We slaves to Benz. We slaves to public perception. We slaves to not looking, what somebody gonna say after the interview. Why you let Kanye do that? You should.
All right, this is going to be a long one. Few mega celebrities are quite as comfortable with the dark side of fame as rapper Kanye West. We're sorry.
Okay, I'm not actually putting down. I'm actually not putting down Kanye West 7-1. Some people have no comprehension skills. Some people have no comprehension skills. I was never putting down Kanye West. I was saying he's so amazing, he's so brilliant. What was the point in him begging to be in someone else's industry when he actually, believe it or not, he has the star power to start his own from scratch? He's Of course, if he did that, he wouldn't. I don't think he would be a billionaire. He probably would have been a 900 millionaire or 800 millionaire or something like that. Probably not in the billions, but he has the star power to do it. Like he's worked so hard all these years that he could have created his own lane instead of now being like F Yeezy. Yeezy won't let me be who I want to be. Not Yeezy, sorry. Adidas. Adidas won't let me be who I want to be. This company won't let me be who I want to be. This company and won't let me be who I want to be. Nobody understands my struggle. Nobody understands what I need to do. Nobody understands what it's like to be me. And at the same time, most of us are just like, you didn't have to do that. No one asked you to do that. You chose to do that. You got yourself in this position. And again, someone who speaks bad about his community all the time, right? Someone who didn't say anything good about his own women, you know, I mean, saying that Kim Kardashian was the most beautiful woman he met, he didn't have to say that. You know, he never said anything about the woman that he was with in his own community, talking about the Kardashians are evil, but you married an evil family. So what does that say about you? I mean, it's not like half of the problems that Kanye West is currently in right now, Kanye West created these problems. And that's just the fact. It's not, oh, why am I trying to tear down Kanye West? It's that he had no problem tearing down his own community multiple times. And again, I'm not speaking from a member of his community, but I'm just saying as an observation, he's always tore down his community. In his most recent apology, he's like, oh, now he's going to go back to his community. His community is going to take him in. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. Just to know that you could speak bad about your community, do absolutely nothing for your community. And now, when no one else wants to deal with you, they'll welcome you with open arms. Well, if that's the case, then I guess you can't blame him for not treating his community a certain way when they kind of pass off whatever he says as, oh, it's creative directiveness, oh, it's bipolarism, oh, it's this, oh, it's, they always make excuses for everything that he does. So why should he act good? Why should he act sane? Why should he act with intention when everyone in his community always try to make excuses? It's weird. This whole Kanye West thing was all over my Pan African feed, and you had Pan Africans being like, "Oh yeah, he realizes he's black. Oh yeah, he should have invested into Africa," and I'm just like, anyways, whatever. But what made me laugh was when they were like, oh, he realizes he's black. Oh, he realizes he's a black man. in America, or he's African and he's getting the African treatment. And I'm just like, you guys are reading into this a bit too much. He doesn't care about that community. He never, maybe he cared about that community in the past, but since he got put on, he never really cared. And now he's crying to come back to that community. It's interesting to me.
A lot of times when I would say, oh, I'm the richest black man, it would be a defense that I would use for the mental health conversation. To say, oh, you guys say I'm crazy, but look at this, I made money. And but that is not godlike to be showing off. So if it's not godlike, then God will take that, because it's all the church's money, right? So what's happening right now is I'm being humbled. Another thing that's happening is by me being burned to the flesh every single day, it's actually proving what I had to say. So when I went to the mediation, what I want to say is, like, black people are like, okay, Lex Friedman got you to apologize. Pierce Morgan got you to apologize to the Jews, but you never apologized to us about the George Floyd comment that made us feel bad. Now, the thing is, okay, JFK, they got a lot of documentaries about how it happened. So we can argue about how it happened, which I like the fact that we can do that. But regardless, when I see that video as a black person, it hurts my feelings. And I know that police do attack, and America is generally racist. And I understand that when we got to say Black Lives Matter, that the idea of it made us feel good together as a person, as a people, right? When let me say it so the soundbite is better for you guys. When the idea of Black Lives Matter came out, it made us come together as a people. Now afterwards, yes, there was some things where the money went. There were some things where it was used in order to push us to the Democratic vote. There were people behind it involved. That happened, but the general feeling. So when I said that, and I questioned the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. It hurt the black people. So I want to apologize to hurting them, because right now God has shown me by what Adidas is doing and by what the media is doing, I know how it feels to have a knee on my neck now. So
Yeah, he made, well, okay, other than the slavery being a choice, sure. I guess that's subjective. But he did make some weird comments about the George Floyd thing, talking about it wasn't a big deal. Why was everyone blowing it out of proportion? And to be honest, like, if you think that way, cool, but why do you have to say it in a public platform? You know, why do you have to say it for everyone else to understand that that's how you feel about the passing of George Floyd? He just apologized for that, by the way, in this video. So that that doesn't make any sense why he did that. I guess he apologized, so it's cool, you know, let it go. But why did he feel the need to do it in the first place? To make fun of George Floyd? That was very traumatic.
I thank you, God, for humbling me and letting me know how it really felt. Because how could the richest black man ever be humbled other than to be made to not be a billionaire in front of everyone off of one comment? That actually, if you look at the definition of DEFCON, it means to get extra defense, which obviously I must have needed.
Yeah.
I must have needed that extra defense.
Are you worried you ruined your legacy, Kanye?
How?
Well,
Stop.
I'm not worried. I'm just not worried, period. God is alive. God runs the world. You know, God even runs Hollywood. God is alive. And he's using me right now. He chose me for such a time like this to basically for the media to put their knee on my neck, for Adidas to put their knee on my neck. All I ever wanted at Adidas, I left Nike because Nike wouldn't give me a percentage for my shoes when I had the Red October. And my girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and I needed to get some money, because if I was the kid that just had the red shoes, I could have never been a black man wearing a red hat. When the like Nike would have shut me down immediately, right? But because Adidas was a German company, it gave me a little bit more room to be able to express myself and to actually have a political opinion as an American, that I wasn't forced into a political opinion because of the color of my skin. Now let's talk about the red hat, and let's talk about the similarities to the White Lives Matter t-shirt. The thing about the red hat that drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor, and what hospital, and what media it went to. We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor that diagnosed me of having a disorder that would have had me on medication right now. At a time like this, if I was on medication right now, then one pill could have been swapped out and it would be Michael Jackson and Prince all over again. But because I didn't take the misdiagnosis and I didn't take the medication, I'm able to speak to you guys clear of thought and transparently. Now, let me talk about the red hat. Wearing the MAGA hat, the way that Hollywood's political agenda attacked me and put me to a point of exhaustion was death by 1,000 cuts. Everyone would say something to me, from a driver to my ex-wife to Adidas. Everyone would say something. So when I wore that White Lives Matter, I said, I'm not going through this again. I'm not going. Hey, y'all gonna leave me alone about my t-shirt. Because what's the point of having influence and having money if people could come up and just pinch you?
Yeah, he raises some good points. He raises some good points. I actually appreciate what Ye or Kanye West is doing right now. I actually appreciate him going undercover and just being honest about the industry. I definitely think this is a really good lesson. Um, yeah, there's some things he said that I don't really rock with, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. He's a celebrity, you know. Some of the things that he did in the past, I kind of already knew it was for shock value, so I never really cared. Like I never like some of the things that he did was obviously publicity stunts just to get people talking and for him to be trending. So I never really took some of the things that seriously. I just thought, okay, well, you're kind of trolling your own community, but it's fine, it's whatever. Now, this is the part where some people say that this is all contrived. This whole plot, him acting crazy, which I still don't think he's crazy. I really think he's actually really genius and he's intelligent. But some people are saying, oh, him doing that whole speech, him attacking that whole community was because of this, because he wanted to leave those contracts anyways. And he just wanted to hurry things up and really get out. And he wanted to get out in a way. Well, he kind of did tarnish his brand a little bit by choosing to say these kind of things and being a social media like a social media risk or a risk in terms of doing other partnerships. But I believe his horrible experience with these partnerships is going to be a motivating factor for him to actually be in his own lane, do his own thing, and start his own businesses from the ground up. I definitely think it's possible. I definitely think not all hope is lost. I definitely think he could do it. He should have done this years ago, to be honest, but hey, it's never too late. You know, if his wife was able to do the same thing, after, being a star in a movie, if she was able to bounce back and have a $1 billion empire as well, I think that, Kanye West can also come back from this and really just the things that he said um evidently weren't that bad, evidently didn't matter that much. So I think he still has a pretty good brand recognition with his. I don't know if he's gonna. Well, obviously, that one community that got offended by what he said, even though it's true, I don't think that community will be behind him. But there are definitely other communities, even Caucasians, other Caucasians who actually low key support what he said. He can still get some support. So I don't think this is career, he's never going to come back. He's gone, he's low. I definitely think he could come back from this. He remains very relevant. Oh yeah, Kanye West, if his albums are still on Spotify or iTunes, I'll still buy his albums, even though I won't listen to his latter albums. If his previous albums are available, I will still buy them. Okay. Let's see what you're saying. No, he did say some bad thing about women in his own community. It does make sense for him to say good things about his wife. That's completely fine. But he did say some not so great. I don't know if he just meant. I think he just meant women is in his community, like the average. I don't know, like the average phenotype or the average. No, prototype. That's what I meant. I think that's who he was talking about, the average prototype, which kind of makes sense. Thinking back, that kind of makes sense because what he said only applies to women in America. That doesn't apply to women outside of America. It just doesn't, because women outside of America don't act like that, generally speaking. Not all, but anyway, I don't need to explain that. We're all slaves. Nothing will happen to you and me because exactly, we're not slaves though. That's what I'm saying. We're not slaves because we can never be canceled to that point. Like we can't do anything that's ever gonna matter that much. We're not relevant. Nobody cares about what we do. We actually have way more freedom than Kanye West does. So I don't think he's crazy. Once again, I do think that he does spiral from depression and all these other things, and it makes sense because he's in the media. Everyone's always watching, following him, expecting a lot from him. So I understand how that messes with his psyche. Recently they were talking about, oh, his doctor was prescribing him medicine, the same type of medicine that Michael Jackson was on. There's something to do with overdosing. Um, the potency of the pills that he was taking, all of that. So that's something that's actually really scary to think about as well, that you have this private doctor that, you know, can be bought, or they can make mistakes and that can affect you. Um, I don't know if you remember, but Kanye West, a couple of years ago, he was on antidepressant medicine or some type of depressant medicine, antidepressant, and he gained a lot of weight. Uh, yeah, he gained a lot of weight. He looked really chunky, and word on the street is he went to go and get surgery. And just to think about, oh my goodness, like your wife is Kim Kardashian, you're constantly in the spotlight and you gain a significant amount of weight, even though, yeah, you're a man, it kind of doesn't matter. But I guess in his industry, it kind of does because he's in the fashion industry. And I don't know, he's always been a certain size, just normal weight. And for him to just blow up like that, I'll show the picture right soon. I can definitely understand, why he was kind of losing his mind a little bit. I kind of understand. He hasn't been a member of the Black community for a long time. Also, Black community can't cancel anymore. Agreeing with the others being the same. Forgot he was Black. He never spoke bad about his community. Come on, and calling his wife the most beautiful woman in the world is normal. You're smarter than that. You talk bad about Africans on these streams, and what's your point? What's your point? He cares about the Black community. He always has. Okay. Kanye has been betrayed by his own people. Sad. This is why Black people will always be losers. I I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree with that. That's why I'm saying it's their choice whether they want to back him up or not. I would, I would just say that, he said a couple of things. I honestly feel like he was just strategic in saying some of the things that he said. I don't believe that he's that stupid, heartless, and naive. I really do think that many of the things that come out of his mouth are actually calculated. So I don't know if they see that. Hopefully they do. Yeah. Me too. I mean, see this is the easy, um as someone like Kaiser would say, this is the easy low level thing to say, is just that, oh, he's lost. None of us are going through, and pretty much probably, I mean, okay, I'll just say none of us will go through what Kanye West is going through. So to just say that he's lost, I think that's too simple minded to just say that he's lost. Again, we don't know what he has to go through in that industry. He just said that a certain group of people own that industry. So if you look at the likes of, I don't even like Diddy, but just look at someone like Diddy, right? Look at someone like Jay-Z. Look at all these other really successful rich men. Do you see how they have to be really, really careful with what they say? Do you see how someone like Diddy can undermine his own people and it's fine, but if he was trying to undermine people from a different community, he would easily be canceled? Do you see how Jay-Z undermines his own people as well on the daily? But it's completely fine because he plays it safe. So he's a billionaire. I mean, none of us really will ever have to go through anything like that. We don't know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know what these execs are saying to them. We don't know anything. So I think to just say that Kanye West is lost or Kanye West is a coon or Kanye West is white. I feel like that's kind of dismissive. I just feel like it's too easy to always equate to that. Oh, you don't think he was expecting the backlash? You give him too much credit. He is a weak. Ooh, okay. He is a weak-minded man who's. Oh my goodness. Okay. Imagine everyone telling you you are a genius when you don't. I think Kanye West. You really don't think Kanye West is a genius? Kanye West is a genius. He's creatively advanced. He Have you listened to his most recent albums? Have you seen some of his sketches? Looked into the interior designing of his home? Kanye West is a genius. That's why when he speaks, sometimes it doesn't make any sense because he just has so many thoughts roaming through his brain, roaming through his mind. That's why he's not really conventional because Kanye West is Kanye West. Um, mm-mm. That's one thing I can't take away from him. He is a genius. He's not only a genius, but he's also a creative genius. He's very different. No, he's very, very different. It's going to give you delusions of, of grandiose narcissism. Can I see? You created a monster. You created a monster. Oh my gosh. See, the further society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. I don't even know if there's probably some other speeches that he said, but I mean, he just is a genius. FBA cancel who they want to cancel and deal with it who they want. Kanye's people are white people. Kanye is an artistic genius for sure. Um, well, see, again, I don't know if this is true, but I do believe that he tried to pander to other communities. I do believe that he tried to think outside the box and get other people to rock with him. But what I think happened is right now he's just having a second coming, like he's coming back to his senses and really realizing that that community is not who he really needs. But that community doesn't support Kanye West. The actual community who supports Kanye West is his own community. That other community, they're just there. They're just there to watch him make a fool of himself or, to hear accolades of who they are, but they don't love him. The community that loves him is the Black community because they're the ones that, even though they'll sit here and be so critical of the things that he says, they're still the ones that at the end of the day he can run back to. He could run back to and feel safe. That other community, they're just pretending and they're faking that they really like him and that they really love him. The minute he falls off, they're gonna move on to somebody else. I don't know if he realized that earlier on. He was really jealous of, you could tell, he was really jealous of Virgil Abloh. He wanted to be like a Virgil Abloh in the fashion industry. It didn't seem to be that way. I mean, I don't know what else Kanye West invests into fashion wise. He probably does have other fashion houses that I'm not aware of. but the only one that I'm aware of is the Yeezy collection, right? So Yeezy collection is okay. It's great. I don't know, but it's not at the same level of some of these fashion houses that have been existing for so long. Like Yeezy is nothing compared to the relevance and the dominance of, let's say, a Coco Chanel. It's not. I don't think it will ever be. So Kanye West clearly knows who. I think it's like he tried to advertise to that community, but Kanye West really knows who his actual fan base are, because even if you look at the Yeezy collection, you look at the purchases of the Yeezy, it was, that community who had a lot of money, but it was also his own community who doesn't have that much money, who would still support and buy his shoes, buy his t-shirts, buy his hats, his collection. His own community supported him as well, or supports him as well financially. Now, his community, I don't know if they support his music endeavors. I can't really tell, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because he still is a big deal. He still is a big artist. Um yeah. He decided not to be on Spotify, iTunes. He decided to use I forgot what that streaming site was, but he decided to break away from all those conventional streaming platforms. So, and people from his community would still buy his album, because I think his album was around $200. So you would think, wow, why would somebody buy this for $200 when an average album costs like 13, 12, $11? They still bought his album. Donda was a successful album. It performed very, very well, despite people saying, oh, Kanye thinks he's too good. Kanye's this. They still went out, bought it in droves. Yeah, I did say that. I was talking in the context of America. They don't have that much money. I never was talking about comparing to all black people in the world. I was saying the context of America, they don't have that much money. And this is what they say. They say that they don't have that much money. I didn't make that up. That's what they've been saying the whole time, that, oh, we're struggling, we're being put out in the streets. We're in the interstate cities, where that's what they've been saying, that the wealth is going away, like the generational wealth. It's getting much harder. This millennial and zillennial generation isn't the same of their parents. Like, you cannot buy a brownstone today than when you were able to buy a brownstone. That's what that community is saying. If that's not true, then I guess they should stop saying it and stop making live streams that they're losing their wealth. He's different, and that's what makes him unique. Normal is boring. Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, Kanye West sold his soul to the devil. What do folks in this live stream chat think? Is Kanye a good example of black excellence in a system that is rigged and corrupt? Uh, Apparently Kanye sold his soul to the devil. That's true. He did. If you look at a lot of his album covers, it's kind of obvious. I don't really like talking about it too much because I just feel like it's kind of redundant because I believe that most artists, actually all mainstream artists, sold their soul. Um, if you look at what even some rappers have to do in the music industry, yeah, if you look at what some sorry, if you look at what some rappers have to do in the music industry, the things that they talk about, uh, sleeping with the Zex, just take a look at Diddy, take a look at apparently 50 Cent had one of those shady deals as well. Um, Bobby Valentino, some of these old rappers that I honestly can't even think of because I don't listen to rap like that. But just taking a look at some of the backdoor deals I have to do, and it's not just the rap industry, it's kind of any entertainment industry. It's also in Hollywood. Um, you just kind of have to do what you have to do. But then, in terms of also selling your soul to the devil, it's not just about sleeping with people, it's about performing actual rituals. Um, in one, like, okay, so when he had his whole Jesus album, especially, I found that to be really interesting. I didn't think that, oh, he's just trying to he's just trying to be artistically creative. I really thought, okay, well, he's mocking Jesus, he's mocking God, he's mocking this, he's mocking that. I mean, well, right now with his gospel album, I'm not sure if things have changed because I'll explain why. In his the album that he did before Donda, I don't remember that one, but his gospel album or his full gospel album, he had a couple of rollouts with Marilyn Manson, and Marilyn Manson is a known occultist. So the thing is, how are you here rolling around with Marilyn Manson when you're talking about you're doing gospel? Right. Here's the picture right here. So I'm sure you remember this picture right here, the one over here. He did a couple of Vogue covers like that. When he had his Jesus album, the rollout was a couple of pictures of him detecting himself to be like a Jesus. Even the wordplay, Jesus, it's just kind of like, what is all of that? So clearly, I don't want to make any accusations. I don't want to say this is what's happening, but this is what happened at the time. What do folks in the live stream chat think? Is Kanye a good example of Black excellence? Yeah, I think he is a good example of Black excellence. y- I, I think he's a good example of Black excellence, Black genius, Black whatever. I do think he is. He's a pinnacle. He's an example in a system that is rigged and corrupt. Well, in this system, right, you just have to be as rigged and corrupt as it is. That's how you get by. So, because I don't look at anybody who's a billionaire, me personally, and think, oh, they're such a wonderful person. They're such a kind person. That's why they've been blessed. No, I know you did things behind the scenes to get all that power. I know you did things behind the scenes to get to that level. So I definitely think Kanye West has done some stuff. Now, what he's done exactly, I don't know. And I don't really care to get into it. You know, it's not that important to me. He's just an artist. But I mean, I'm not going to put it past him, right? Let me see here. Yeah, but that actually is, again, I don't know if he's a real Christian for real or not. I can't tell. Yeah, but this is when he was promoting his gospel album, and that's who he decided to hang out with. So, I mean, I don't know how you could promote a gospel album and then be with someone who's actually a hedonist, or be with somebody who's actually a Satanist. I don't know how that works, but sure, it's Hollywood. I guess you could do whatever you want. Um yeah, no, that's actually, see, and that's the thing, like, I don't know if he still feels that way, but him doing that should have told people that he is on that path, that he was on a unrighteous, blasphemous path, because there's no way you as a human being can even equate yourself to being to a godlike status when, I mean, God created you, so how could you say you are a god? You know? And this was the same person who claimed to be a Christian. So if you're claiming to be a Christian, why are you joking around with the God title? It would be different if he didn't believe in anything, which is why I don't actually think he believes in anything. I think he's just playing, having emotional relations, like trying to tug on people's emotions, trying to profit. But it's hard for me to believe that someone that actually believed in God would think it's funny to call himself a Jesus. I just don't understand where the joke is. I don't understand what's so funny about it at all. But yeah, that's just me. But yeah, that's everything I have to say about Kanye West. So I'll go ahead and drop the link if anyone has anything to say. If they don't, then I think I'll end the stream in about 10 minutes. Okay, so I guess with your comment, you're saying that Kanye West is a real person. See, when it comes to celebrities, right, even though I actually really like Kanye West, even though I actually really support him, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know who he is. You know, I'm not going to sit here And again, I'm very skeptical of anyone who has a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like, even though I really love, let's say, Beyonce, I really like her. I'm not gonna sit here and act like she doesn't do witch signals, like she doesn't have album covers that are kind of suggestive. Kanye West again was married to Kim Kardashian, and if anyone has ever watched Keeping Up with Kardashians, their house would have black and white tiles that would be Masonic symboling. So for people to be like, oh, they're witches in the industry is not something that I think is just by happenstance. I really do think they do some type of witchcraft, some type of worship in the industry, right? So if Kanye West was cool with marrying somebody like that, I mean, what's to say that he also doesn't partake in that? Liking someone's music doesn't mean that you can't be critical and think they're an actual demon. If we're looking at Lucifer, he was the angel of music. So if you actually take a look into the music industry and decipher what's going on in the music industry, then you'll understand that a lot of spells are being cast in a lot of these melodies and rhythms, and it's a pretty dark industry, really. It is. It's not just the music industry, it's the entertainment industry, it's politics, it's basically everywhere and nowhere at the same time, because it's stuff that you won't really notice unless you actually take a look into the messaging, unless you take a look into numbers, colors, the way things are placed. It's not really something that's obvious, but it's there. I mean, when people act like, no, there's no such thing as the spiritual world, it's actually really funny to me when I hear things like that. Like, oh, so you think that all of this. Okay, that is so embarrassing. I actually exited my whole stream, but yeah, anyways, just continuing what I said. When people think that everything that they see is as it appears, it's kind of scary. Um, it's really frightening. Um, I mean, there are witches, wizards, demons, evil spirits. There are rituals. All of this stuff is out there, right? So the fact that people just think that, oh, it's only there when you're doing bad, it's also there when you're doing good, or it's also there when you're in certain industries that mean well, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but all of this stuff is there. All of this stuff is there. If you've ever been to university, it's there. It's there. Especially in these private parties, these private organizations, these fraternity groups That's a form of initiation. That's a form of, letting loose. So some people might think, okay, well, this only happens in university. When you're older, it stops. I'm like, no, it's also in the workplace. It's everywhere. You can't really escape it. You just have to protect yourself. Yeah, and just be aware. Yeah, I think Kanye West would have been her third or fourth husband. So, on top of being married 3 or 4 times, she's been a girlfriend to countless of black men, and it's actually really disgusting. Again, I don't know. I mean, when him and her got together, he it wasn't like he just started in the industry. He was still pretty famous. He had plenty of options in Hollywood. But again, no one understands why he went for her. But now tying that back into what we were talking about, it could have been that she actually chanted him, or she could have done something to get him, because again, when he kept on talking about how beautiful she was, it's like at the time he was a multimillionaire, right? So it's like you could get so many beautiful women. What's so special about Kim Kardashian? No, but it's whatever. It's whatever. Why should the black community feel sorry for Kanye West as an individual? Is Kanye West not responsible and accountable for all the results of his words and actions? I think the black community, I don't know if they should feel sorry for Kanye West, but I still think that they should support Kanye West because that's one of his own. You understand, if this was a different community, even if one of their own were to act up or act weird or do something bad, they would still support their own. So with that community, irregardless if you're angry with Kanye West or not for some of the things that he said, which I really do think that community should be angry with Kanye West over some of the things that he's mentioned, but should they completely turn their backs on him and be like, "Oh, uh forget Kanye West, he could be part of another community now?" No. Even if right now he has $400 million. It's not like he's going to be starving. But right now though, a lot of doors are being closed on him, right? He's kind of alone right now. This would be the perfect time for that community to show their support. He did do like a semi apology in one of those videos. But yeah, this would be the perfect time for them to be like, "It's okay, brother, come back," and all of that. I just think that that's what you do for your people at the end of the day. Even if you disagree with them, you just gotta be there for them. So that's what I personally think that. Okay, all right. So if that's everything, I'm gonna go. It's 10:30 here. Thanks everybody for being here, and I'll see you guys the next time.